Right, so BMW 125i, yeah? It came in yesterday and I thought I need to do a video on this car. This is cool. So I am currently at Dunstable Downs, so there's a road just sort of here, and in the background there's like a glider club. It's a good place for filming. I come here quite a lot, and in the background, just parked in front of them gates that say no parking in front of the gates, we've got the BMW 125i. all right, so the plan for today's video is I swap arms because that arm is aching. We're just going to jump in it and go for a drive. So what we'll do is we'll get rolling with the intro, then after the intro we're going to have some sort of cinematic shots whilst the car's parked here, and then we'll jump in it and go for a drive. All right, let's go. That's it. There you go, mate. Thank you. Right, where do we start? Let's go this way. Cinematic shots done. Thumbnail done. Introduction. So, I'm Calvin, by the way. If you're new, sorry, it's all a bit of a rush because I had to move for matey. Calvin's Car Diary on Instagram. I'm a car trader. I buy and sell cars and film it for YouTube. Alright, so if you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button, but only do it if you like cars, yeah? This is all car related stuff. So currently in, like I said, the BMW 125i, yeah? And I don't know why I'm doing it with my hands, that's pointless really, but I suppose in my head I think of, when I think of 1 Series, the one that springs to mind the most is the M140 and obviously the M135. So to be in a 125, I constantly have to remind myself it's a 125, not 135 Cal. Let's talk about BMW petrol engines, yeah? I think that's a good way to start this video. Now, generally, 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated BMW petrol engines are soulless. It's just so boring. I mean, they're good. They've always been reliable, don't get me wrong, but they've always just been really dead. And since, like, in recent years, every manufacturer going, rather than increasing the size of the engine, what they've done to save on emissions is just add a turbo. So in the olden days, I say olden days, like 10 years ago or whatever, like in the times of like E36 3 Series and E46 3 Series, the 2.5 would mean it's a 2.5 litre engine, yeah? Currently, the way things have gone with, like I say, with emissions, the 2.5 today doesn't actually stand for that. It's almost just a model. It's a model number. So they do the 120i, which is probably a soulless, gutless petrol engine. I must have driven one, but I can't really comment on how I felt about it. I can't remember if I've driven one. But the 125, when it came in, I thought, is it going to be a good car? How am I going to feel about this car? Is it going to be another soulless BMW petrol engine? Like when I say that, 4-cylinder, yeah? Generally 4-cylinder engines are quite boring when it comes out of the BMW range. So what I done first was, and forgive me for not having too much knowledge, I still don't have stacks of knowledge, I just know what I just learnt this morning on let's get rid of that, on Google. So I looked at it and I thought, I saw the badge on the back, 125i, and I thought, yeah, this is okay. What is this car about? What is the engine under the bonnet? So 2 little clicks of the handle down here, bonnet opens, I looked under the bonnet, and it's got twin power turbo written across the plastic sort of cover on the engine. I I thought, do you know what? That is an absolute game changer. That has made me like this car. A twin power turbo, let's talk about that quickly. It's not actually a twin turbo, it's a twin power turbo. I often get people that are BMW owners tell me that they own a twin turbo car. I'm not certain how the functionality of these turbos work, but I'm almost certain that it is just one turbo that functions. I don't know, I'm not even going to go into detail, but I'm not even going to pretend I know. But I just know that there's not two turbos under the bonnet of this car, alright? So if you own a twin power turbo BMW petrol engine, it's not a twin turbo car. It's a single turbo, but I don't know. I'm not, forget about it. But yeah, when I looked under the bonnet, I was like, this excites me. I'm interested in this car. I am now very interested in this car. So it's got a manual gearbox as well. Drivability, bit of fun, like that's quite a big box ticked on the list. It's got a turbo under the bonnet, and it's a BMW. Again, I'm a big BMW fan, so that was another big box ticked. And it's a 1 Series. I love 1 Series. I love the body shape, like the short wheelbase. I love the way that they're a little hatchback, and I also love that they're rear-wheel drive. Okay. So then I went on to drive the car, yeah, for the first time, and you know, before we go into that, let me explain how the car come about. So those that are new, obviously, I've explained that I'm a car trader, and this car, I may have already explained to you at this point, but basically we run an auction, okay? We're based in, I'm not going to go into too much detail, because I don't know if I've introduced my auction on the channel at this point. I may well have done, I might not have done, but I will be doing a video introducing that side of my business at some point soon. But basically we run an auction. It's located in Milton Keynes, and our previous site was located just outside of Dunstable, which is sort of near where I am now. And I had the white Audi S3 up for sale. Yeah, you saw the S3 probably on my channel. I drove that car a lot myself. Such a bloody good car. It was a stage 1 remapped car, so much power, honestly, really good car. And the fella, I'm not going to say his name because of like data protection and stuff, but I didn't actually meet him myself. He bought the S3 off of us, and he part exchanged his BMW 125i, which I think was a bloody good move, because should I go left? Should I go right? We'll go right, we'll go this way, because slightly different flavour, still a 2-litre petrol turbocharged engine, and the S3 had a hell of a lot more power as well. So, and it also had a manual gearbox, so this lad obviously loved his manual gearbox, so I think it was a great move. But yeah, this come in part exchange, and I was greeted with it on the evening that it arrived. So yeah, back to where we were going. I got in the driver's seat of it, and I got into it with quite a sort of, what's the right word to use, skeptical expectation. I got into it thinking, I wonder what this car's gonna be like. Is it gonna be like, it's not gonna be quick, not gonna be massively quick, but it is cool, you know. The turbo is, it kind of puts a whole spin on your feeling or your thoughts towards this car. That's what I think anyway. It done it for me. I was like, it's got a turbo, it's gonna be cool. So I drove it, right, and so we go down to second gear. You put your foot down, and it has got a surprising amount of power. You put your foot down in third, again, a surprising amount of mid-range power, which is what generally smaller BMW petrol engines lack. That mid-range is always just like, oh, you put your foot down, it doesn't go anywhere. Whereas now, with the turbo bolted on, it's a real nice power. Now this car is 215 brake horsepower, which ain't a crazy amount of power, but I had a little look this morning. If you get one of these remapped, you can get about another 60 to 70 brake horsepower out of it, making it, so if we get 215 and we add 70, 285 brake horsepower, which still isn't as much as, like, we've got to use the S3 as an example, a stock S3, but it's a decent amount of power, and I think it's so nice. the winning thing for me with this car is what other car on the roads, yeah, this is the question I asked myself this morning and I still haven't got an answer for it. What other car on the road has got a short wheelbase like this has got, is a hatchback like this is, comes in a 5-door and a 3-door version, again like this, the option of an auto or a manual gearbox, rear wheel drive with a 2-litre turbo petrol engine under the bonnet. That is the most random combination, not even random, the most perfect combination. So many cars should be built like this, and they're not. It's not a common thing whatsoever. And as far as like as a driver's concerned, from a driving point of view, what a bloody cool combination to have. We've got a rear wheel drive 2-litre turbocharged car with a short wheelbase, hatchback, so it's daily usable, and it's built by BMW. This is such a cool car. So if I owned this car, I would undoubtedly have to get it remapped, and I say that about every stock turbo car, because it just transforms the way a car delivers power. But I've kind of got it in my head that I would almost love to keep this car. Like, it will be going up for sale at some point, but I fully get why people buy these cars. They sit in a price range at about £8,000, which is about £5,000 less than a M125i. An M125i runs at, I think, about 320 brake standard. If you could get 320 brake out of this, which I know you could quite easily, it's got a smaller engine than an M125i. It's a lot less money than an M125i, and if you're 20, 21 years old, you can insure this, or you're more likely to be able to insure this over your M135i. So this car fits in a perfect point in the car market. You compare this to, like, I done a video recently on the Subaru Impreza, and I love Subaru Imprezas. I'm a big Impreza fan, but at the minute, the point that I'm in life, well, I wouldn't even say the point that I'm in life, I'm just quite drawn to BMW at the minute. I think they're cool. I love the whole German thing, and I think rear wheel drive does provide so much personality to the driver of a car. So if you are sort of not a new driver, or been driving for a short while, and you've got your first couple of years no claims out of the way, and you're at that point now where you can afford to get a turbocharged car, or something with a bit more power, something that's a bit more of a petrol head's car, these are a good choice of car. What I haven't done yet is I haven't explained to you about the sport button. Again, forgive me for being so bloody naive, I don't fully know what it does, but when you drop it to second now, so I put it up to sport, and then you press it up again, it goes to sport plus, yeah? When you put it in sport plus, it turns the traction control off, which means that the diff can slip, okay? Or the diff, not the diff, the wheels can slip, yeah? So we'll just pull out this junction, and I'll accidentally give it too much throttle. The back end is lively, which is strange. Now this morning I was driving along in second gear, yeah, with Sport Plus on. I put my foot down, the road was a little bit damp, it's dried out now, and the back wheels spun. Mid-range power, like I don't know where I was at in the rev range. I would say second gear, about 2,500 revs. The turbo come in and the back wheels spun. Like, that is something you would not expect from a stock 2-litre turbocharged rear-wheel drive car. And I think for me, I'm just turning around because I'm going back in the direction I've just come from. You can see it's just trying to kick out a little bit. For me, I just can't think of another car that gives you that. And that's why, after driving this car for the first time, I got out of it and I thought, wow, what a brilliant car. What a bloody good choice of car. And like I say, it's not a lot of money. So, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I kind of like, we let these cars go. Let this big lorry go. Go on, Mr. Lorry Driver. I want to get this car tuned, you know that? I almost feel like this car, I need to experience what it feels like to have a 125i that's been remapped or had an exhaust. Imagine it, imagine what it's going to sound like, imagine what it's going to perform like, imagine what it's going to drive like. BMW manual gearboxes, let's quickly talk about that. I have had probably hundreds of BMWs with manual gearbox, okay? And with a manual gearbox, worded correctly. And I have never ever, not once, ever had a problem with a BMW manual gearbox. Not from the gearbox nor the clutch. It's quite unbelievable how reliable. They've got to be one of the most reliable, I'm sure people would dispute this as well, but they've got to be one of the most reliable gearboxes, in my opinion, in my experience, ever. They're just so bloody good. So you've got a car that you can tune, it's got rear-wheel drive, there's a sports hatch, so it looks the bollocks, I'll use that word, with a manual gearbox, with rear-wheel drive, and I don't know if I'm repeating myself, I probably am, with a 2-litre turbocharged engine. And I think that can pretty much summarise this video. What car on the road does all of them things? And if you're 21, you can insure it as well. I'm sure 21-year-olds can probably insure 125i's, but you're gonna pay a bit of a premium for it. And for me, that summarises this video and this car. I think this is such a bloody cool car for the money. I think I'm done. Filmed for about 15 minutes. I banged on a little bit, I know that, but I just kind of like I'm sitting here now. Comfort-wise, I'm 6'2". I know I look cramped because visually I look cramped in every bloody car I drive, but I don't feel too cramped. The steering column, so as with every car, I have to put the seat all the way to the back, yeah? Generally, steering columns don't extend far enough for someone who has to put their seat all the way back, like me, if that makes sense. This column does, so I've got the steering wheel well and truly in my hands. This steering wheel is covered in like makeup or something that needs to be cleaned. It's not very nice, don't like that. It's got like these two-tone sort of Alcantara stroke cloth seats. They look really cool. This diamond, almost like Audi RS style stitch on the doors and on the seats. The dash here as well. BMW cars are always extremely well built. They've got a nice solid feel to them throughout, and yeah, I just really like it. It will be going up for sale. I am not going to be getting much use out of it at all, but I was driving it today and I thought this is such a relevant car for my channel right now, because at the minute I've been filming loads of sports hatches like S3s, Golf R's, a Subaru, and I'm really interested in these types of cars. So, and I know you lot are as well. I've built up this audience of people that like this type of car. So yeah, it fitted the channel perfectly. Just put my foot down. Yeah, the Sport Plus button as well, by the way, transforms. I wouldn't go as far as saying it transforms. That's not that's kind of a bit of a dramatic Jeremy Clarkson style review word. Doesn't fully transform, but it gives you a bit more of throttle response and just a better feeling of driving. And like I said, it does turn the traction control off. Brilliant car. I'm going to leave it as that, but thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this car. Let's get some comments in the comment section. What do you think? Would you buy a 125i over, like, let's think of cars. Astra VXR, I bring them up a lot. They're a cool car, similar type of car, I suppose, but a VXR is a bit more elite, I would say, because it's got the VXR badge, whereas this is just a 1 Series with a 2-litre turbo engine. Or the Subaru, that was a car that we talked about recently. Would you rather have the Subaru? Are they even comparable? Is a Japanese 4-door rally-derived hatch comparable to a BMW 1 Series? What type of car, what would you do? And put yourself in the mindset of a 21-year-old as well, you know. And I'm using 21 as a number, as an age. I don't even know for sure that a 21-year-old can get insured on this, but I guess that someone with a couple of years no claims probably could. So yeah, let me know what you're thinking. Watch the back end. If you do buy one, you'll enjoy it. You'll love it. Just be careful, because it's real drive, and when you get it tuned, it will lose traction. sorry, I know I've been filming a lot. I've got one more thing to say before you go. Have got something else I want to say. This car doesn't have a limited slip diff, which in my opinion, if you're just about to get into the real drive scene, I think that's a very, very good thing. Because the reason why I think that, I don't think from a drifting point of view, I know full well, if you're drifting, these diffs are not ideal because it takes a bit more effort to keep it sideways, yeah? But if you're just stepping into the real drive world, to have a diff like this, a diff that slips and doesn't put traction or power through both wheels at all times, these diffs are quite easy to learn and to get the hang of a car going sideways. I think I learned to drift or go sideways, and I say this a lot, I'm not a drifter, don't even assume that I'm not at all, but I learned to go sideways in a transit van, which obviously doesn't have a limited slip diff, yeah? And for me that was just a winning way to learn to get the hang of a real drive car or van or motor or whatever. So again, I think as an entry level real drive youngsters sort of sports car, this does that for you as well. I've banged on enough. Summary is, I love the 125i. If you're thinking of getting one, go and get yourself in the driver's seat at one this weekend. Go and find one on Auto Trader and take it for a test drive, because I think you'll be well impressed with it. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit like. If you're new, hit subscribe. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow at Calvin's Car Diary. And I'll see ya in the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, alright? Bye. In the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, I answer a question that I keep getting asked: am I selling my Golf R?